Hey everyone, welcome back to the Loki Studio, and today I'm here with a brand new video for you guys. We're back, we're talking about Loki, the pilot, titled Glorious Purpose. This just came out on Disney Plus yesterday when this ends up being released, and I'm here with my dad. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, everybody.
So, this was one of the shows that we've been waiting for a long time. Of course, everything got pushed back because of COVID. It was originally supposed to come out, trying to think. It was originally supposed to come out in early 2021, so I guess it's not that far off. But before we get into it, I just want to ask, what were your overall expectations going into this show?
I really didn't know what to think. I hadn't spent much time preparing myself. I have not read many Loki comics. I really didn't spend a lot of time analyzing the trailer. So I had just normal expectations for a good Marvel show. And I loved it. I thought it was great. Great first episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think we both kind of just went into it because it was Marvel and because we like Loki, just having average expectations. We knew it would be good or decent at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, definitely, I think this pilot was better in getting it set up for more than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, for instance. I had a better, although nothing big came out of this. I think it still had some good. It set up things good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we kind of pick up after Avengers Endgame, and Loki steals the Tesseract, causes him to time travel. So we kind of got this opening thing. It's like this blue square, and
Tesseract,
it lands right up to his feet. So of course he just takes it because that's Loki. He ends up in Mongolia. So he went all the way from New York to Mongolia. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. And so then he gets there and he announces to the Mongolians that he has glorious purpose. And at that point, the Minutemen show up, the TVA, and they arrest him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then he goes to the TVA. In this place, pretty much, it's very controlling. You can't really do much here. It controls pretty much all your movements. It knows everything about you. It's just kind of one of those weird places that I wouldn't want to go to.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the Time Variance Authority is running through basically his life and then puts him on trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he is found guilty for being a variant, and his punishment is to be reset, which is to basically disappear, right? Mm-hmm. To be destroyed. And it was just at that point, Agent Mobius shows up to save the day, right?
Yes. So this Agent Mobius guy, just like any new character, we're not sure what we're supposed to think of him, but I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, the actor is Owen Wilson. He's been in a lot of great things, mostly comedy, and he does a great job with this. I really enjoyed his character. He's somebody who knows everything about Loki and is willing to trust him enough to use him, and we'll get into what that is a little bit later.
Yeah, Owen Wilson's hair was also shorter in this than other things. I didn't recognize him at first, but then I kind of saw what it was supposed to be. And then so once he first gets there, he kind of goes through this process where he's stripped for 5 seconds, and then he goes down and he's suddenly in a jumpsuit. Kind of unrealistic, but I guess that's beside the point. I guess that was kind of meant for a joke.
Right.
Yeah, so they do this thing where everything that he says is documented. It's a new paper for everything that he says, which kind of seems like a waste of paper. And then he kind of goes through this thing where is he a robot or not? So they're just kind of going through these weird tests meant for some sort of comedy, thrown in there. So yeah, then he gets put on trial, and he tries to get himself out of it, kind of. Before this, we kind of meet Miss Minutes, who was pretty annoying, kind of showing off an intro video saying, we're gonna protect you the best that we can from trial, kind of thing, which it's like a scam, kind of, What did you think of this thing?
Well, it was just a commercial to how the sacred timeline works and who the timekeepers are, and kind of sets it up so they understand what the trial's about. So it was a good, from a storytelling standpoint, it's a good to kind of give everybody watching a 411 of what's really going on. So who are the Time Variant Authority?
So yeah, before Loki can like be put in big trouble, Agent Mobius decides to give him a chance. So they kind of sit down for like an interview, which kind of takes up a period of time. And here we kind of get Loki just looking back at his past, just reflecting on it, kind of looking back at his best and worst moments. There's a lot of not good moments. And I'm sure, like, you know, kind of just looking back also, like, at the history of the character throughout all these movies, kind of, like, coming to a point now where he doesn't know what to do, just because I feel like all of his life is just kind of, like, put in ruin. And I think there was just, like, some emotional, good story to tell here, and I think I'm excited for that. Sure, that's going to be, like, a lot of action, I know, but it still had good emotion to it. What do you think?
Yeah, and so part of, the interview with Mobius, he was looking backwards, but it was also looking forward of what he did in the sacred timeline. And this is from things in the movie where, he set up his mother being killed and his father died. And so he's able to kind of see these things, and we see in a very emotional element in Loki. And so that was a kind of a breakthrough, I think, in his character.
Yeah.
He realized that he doesn't like to kill people. It's all part of who he is as a weak person wanting to be strong.
Yeah, the god of mischief.
Yep.
Is his name. But, like, I think, like, anything, that's just a title. I mean, there's a different side to Loki. And it's interesting that we're diving into here, because a lot of the other movies, he was just kind of like the prankster, kind of like bad guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that he got his own show.
Absolutely.
mean, I'm not sure. It's not like I've been waiting for it, because I'm still kind of like new to the whole thing. But I Thor Ragnarok, I think, gave me like an interesting impression on Loki, which was a really good movie, by the way. Mm-hmm. Gave me an interesting impression on Loki. And then kind of moving in from Endgame and then into here, it's interesting how they kind of just developed it. So we also, kind of like a small thing here, there's some Infinity Stones also here. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, that really was interesting. They use them as paperweights here. And, for Thanos and the Avengers, it was the prized possession to control the universe, right? Everything was built around these. In the TVA, they're just paperweights. They're worthless. It goes to show you how powerful the TVA is, that they control the most powerful items in the world, and they're not really worth anything.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And, like, of course, like, these things are, like, yeah, they're, like, one of the most valuable things of, like, this time. So, interesting. So, Loki does kind of, like, run away from this whole interview thing, but then he kind of, like, goes back, and then this girl Minuteman, he kind of, like, stops her,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
has a little fun controlling her movements, yeah.
And then we kind of see just Loki. Obviously, I think the course of this 6-episode series is going to be him, like, reflecting. Of course, I'm sure there's going to be action thrown in there, but I think that's just going to be his main thing. And I'm not sure, I don't know how this is going to end, and I'm not sure if it's absolutely confirmed yet, but I think there's going to be a season 2. So, definitely more stories to be told. So, and this is just the beginning, like I said. So, we kind of end things off here in the episode. We see that there's these Minutemen who are kind of like investigating, sort of. They're the good guys we're thinking. Do you have a comment there?
Yeah, I mean, and they're going after the bad Loki, right? At least that's what we assume. And it doesn't go well for the Minutemen. But they're investigating what we think is the bad Loki. And so what ends the show is, at least the first episode we think, is that Mobius and the Loki that we know are going to go after the bad Loki, right?
Mm-hmm. So like a team up there, 2 against 1, but we don't know what this bad Loki is up to either.
Right.
So he could have all these people behind him, or he could just be solo.
Yep.
So
we don't know.
And then he starts his fire, and all these Minutemen are trapped in it. So we just have this bad Loki right here, which is pretty much just all black.
Yep.
And that's where things end off. So, I think I'm gonna, I think when we kind of grade here, I feel like we always give it, so I kind of thought maybe we would give like a 1 to 10 this time.
Okay.
To be a little bit more, give it a little bit more, realistic scale. So for this episode, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, I say an 8.5, yeah. I think that's good.
It wasn't and I guess it's kind of hard to call the first episode amazing, just because there's so much story to be told. Typically, you don't get everything in the first episode. But I think it was a good pilot. Just introduced you to everything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, so we'll hopefully be able to do these things weekly. I'm kind of glad it's on Wednesdays, but then again, it's also kind of hard just because we have stuff going on Wednesday nights, and like, I kind of wish it was on Fridays, but we also have shows on Fridays, so I think it kind of like is like a win-lose situation, you know? But, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and jump off of here, but thanks for joining me. Anything else you want to say?
Nope. Great first episode.
Yes. So we're hoping to maybe do a podcast on the Invincibles soon. We've been watching that. It's an Amazon Prime show, superhero show. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do something along those lines soon. So anyways, thanks for watching Movie Studio. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.
Bye.